Okay, that was my granddaughter calling me, and it interrupted. But let me just finish. There's a couple of things I want to say in um, finishing up, tying everything together. Look at the Fool's card, beloveds. Understand what is going on, and I am going to because we need the positive energy. Um, I'm going to let me stop it in while I do this. Okay, beloveds, I found the card. This is Seed. This is a Fool. This is the Big Joker. This is the Big Joker that trumps all the trumps. This is coming from the Medicine Woman deck. Okay? But if you use this card, the Fool, from any tarot deck and read what it has to say, look at the images in there that call you to it, and understand the messages that are there. Okay? Now, I'm going to get into what Carol Bridges says with the Medicine Woman inner guidebook, and I've laid the foundation of where this is coming from and what the situation is. And this is about trumping the Trump. This is about the divine feminine, okay? And the divine feminine in her great mother role, not just as the female role, or the little girl, or the seductress, or the temptress, or the blah blah blah. No, this is the great mother. This is the grandmother of the grandmothers of the grandmother spirit energy that we're speaking of. This is the Fool. This is the one that holds all. This is the zero that one comes out of, that two comes out of, that three comes out of. Okay? Understand and understand. She who holds everything is key. And you cannot do math and hold place without using a zero, without using her, without calling her presence in, without acknowledging her presence. You cannot just delete her. Okay? Let's see what is being said. Zero, seed. Number and meaning, 0, openness to flow. Traditional name, the Fool. Medicine Woman energy, the seed being carried by the wind. The winds of change is blowing, beloveds. Okay, there are seeds. This change is seeded. What are you going to help grow? What are you going to water? What are you going to tend? What are you going to nourish? Because what you tend, nourish, water is what you're going to consume. And what you consume is what is going to consume you. Okay? So, here we go. Affirmation. All the power that ever was or will be exists in the here and now. I am therefore ready and willing to risk the loss of what I have been and move on to what I can become. I am the power to begin. If you recognize the power to begin, you have to acknowledge the power of something else ending. Okay? The card speaks. I am the Fool, a seed being carried by the wind. I am the first step in the process of manifestation. I am the idea that inspires life. I am inexperienced, yet within me lies the plan for my perfect unfoldment. To me, there is no time like the present in which to begin my journey. I carry my memories, my talents, my hopes, my dreams, my fears and concerns in the bowl of myself, just as you carry these within the cells of your body. I carry the seed of self into every adventure. My fears summon me to prepare and make ready to overcome any dangers that might be ahead. The light of the sun illuminates my way. By earth, mother of all creation, I am nourished. Through movement and change, I grow. My path is revealed as I walk on it. If you look at the first video, beloveds, all of that came forth before. Like I said, all of this is coming up from the same well, a very deep well, very deep source within. Exercise this week. Do something you have always wanted to do. Meditation. Imagine that you are a fool going on and on and on, going on and on, an inner journey. Read the instructions. Beginning the journey, a map of consciousness on the next few pages. Then find a comfortable, quiet place to sit with your spine straight and follow the path in your mind to meet your guiding presence. When you sense a contact has been made, ask to be presented with information regarding the seed which your life is carrying into the world. Visualization. Creating the image in as much detail and color as possible. The big joker with color. Envision yourself bravely taking the next step in your spiritual journey. The step may be anything from cleaning the house to organizing a political action group. The truth is only within you. Astrological sign, Uranus. Foods. Foods that stimulate activity often have caffeine, a substance not healthful in large amounts. Try the following tea as a substitute. Fool's tea. Boil 1 cup of fresh, clear water containing a piece of ginger root, 2 whole cloves, 4 cardamom seeds, 3 black peppercorns, and a half a cinnamon stick for 10 minutes, and then add 1 teaspoon of any good strong herbal tea. Allow to steep 10 minutes, add half a cup of milk, and heat until warm enough for drinking. Diet is an important aspect of being able to move into altered states of awareness and experience the deeper levels of relaxation and higher insight that are suggested in this book. The healthier you are, the easier it is for your psyche to free itself from bodily concerns. Again, this is what Donald Trump is doing in court when he's closing his eyes and disappearing from the proceedings, not listening to the judge, not listening to anybody. If the judge wants to say something to him, the judge speaks to his lawyer, and the lawyer tells him and brings him out of that state of consciousness back into the court. But otherwise, then he goes right back into it. His body is there. His body has to be present. But he's showing you, my mind is not here. I'm not taking any of this serious. I'm not taking this court system serious, Your Honor. How many times have I been in violation of that damn gag order? Beloveds, pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. And understand who gets privilege and who don't. Who gets stuff just awarded to them based upon their sense of entitlement. Okay? And who does not. And what that makes you, the fool you become. Okay, the kind of fool you become. There are many different kinds of fools. Make Pay attention to those who want to make fools out of you. Okay? Pay attention to them. Because there's a darkness there. There's an illness there. Where they need to do that. That means they want to kidnap you out of the light and bring you into the darkness. They want you to be a fool. They don't want you to radiate. They don't want you to vibrate high. They want you to be underneath them. Literally, figuratively, metaphorically. Okay? And when you allow yourself to do that because you feel that you have to please somebody, or you, in order to enjoy their status or their company or their attention, and you just, okay, it's not a big thing, okay. Pay attention. Don't be nobody's fool. You are a sovereign being. You are a child of the Most High. If you're going to be a fool unto that. And baby stepping your way all the way to the highest spectrum and frequencies that you can be. Appreciating with gratitude that full state that you start in. That which holds you. Let me keep going. Colors. Surround yourself with clear, light yellow, or with glorious dawn hues. Beloveds, I did not read this card. I did not pull this card. Like I said, all of this came up. What was shown to me was the Fool. Of course, this is a guiding principle. I slept in this last night, okay? I put this on last night. This is my nightgown, all right? The rest of this, the wig, all of it, they're seeds. They're seeds. That's being led by spirit. Surround yourself with a clear, light yellow. And as you see, my cover is yellow. My great-grandmother's name was Lemon. And she came to me, I think it was last winter. No, right, last fall. Fall of 2023. And told me I needed to decorate my house in yellow. Bright yellow. Okay? Because I was going to need that to get through this coming winter. And that winter is more than just the season. It is a spiritual cycle, okay? And she's been very right. This yellow has held me in very special ways. Surround yourself with a clear, light yellow or with a glorious dawn hues. Try meditating on the seed at sunrise. The seed is awakening. Go out early on the morning to a dewy meadow or a small stream. Let yourself softly gaze without thinking. The feelings that will come are the essence of the Fool or seed energy. Beginning the journey, a map of consciousness. Whenever one is traveling in a new territory, it is helpful to have a map. It is the same with the pathways to the inner self. Mine is blueprints. And it is understanding structure, it is understanding foundation, it is understanding the tenets and terminology of architecture, of building, of masonry, of the stones, of everything that is needed and necessary to build a spiritual temple. Both emotionally, physically, spiritually, psychically, all of it. And so all of these things have molded our current understanding of this matrix. And it's time to destroy, deconstruct this matrix system. It's ended. It's done. Which means something else is beginning. It's being born. It's crowning itself. It's coming. It's introducing itself. We are giving birth to it and pulling it forward. We are the midwives for it. We're coaching it along through its trimesters, through its stages, through its cycles, through its seasons. Before it is full consciousness for the collective, it has to gain consciousness with the individuals first. That is where we are, beloveds, as a species that was given dominance over the earth, as a species with a divine feminine that is capable of incarnating spiritual beings and mothering them. That has to be respected. That has to be understood. That is holy. That is serving the Holy Spirit. That is being of service to the Holy Spirit. You know, on the first video, I spoke of this role being given to this entity who wanted to be the Holy Spirit and couldn't. When the Great Spirit said, "Vengeance is mine," and the very creation that you detested the Holy Spirit for is what is going to serve you your ending and take over your role of serving and service to the Holy Spirit. That's the snake eating its own tail. That's the Ouroboros. That's the vengeance is mine. That's the let it be. Let it be. It's all been worked out and planned out from the very beginning, baby. Don't you sweat the technique. Don't you sweat the appearances. Because the seen may show you one thing, but the unseen, a whole different story. That's where the fool comes in. That's the seed. We were seeded with this. It's in our genealogies. It's in our DNA. It's in our makeup. It's in our blueprint. It's in our architecture. It's in our structure. It's in our design. Those of us who are capable of raising our spectrums and frequency, our spiritual conscious awareness, will do so. We will do so. And there's nothing, no weapon formed against us that will prosper. Okay? And you've got to know this, so that you are not fooled by someone else's logic, reasoning, resistance, and grooming. And wanting to play follow the leader. You have been given the capability to think for yourself, meaning you have been given the capacity of zero to hold cosmic space for the Holy Spirit as a living vessel, as a living temple. And all you have to do is clear out your personality, because that's the only thing that blocks her. You know, like this entity we were speaking of, the only reason why she does not reach her glory, does not reach it, is because of its personality, its hard-heartedness, its fear, and its hatred. Let's continue. Understanding what a map is. A map holds spaces, right? It holds spaces, it holds places of landmarks, of ways and means, of guideposts, of familiarity, okay? So that you can help navigate and find your way. Wherever one is traveling in new territory, it is helpful to have a map. It is the same with the pathways of the inner self. Eventually, all roads lead to the one perfection. But just as one might prefer to take a scenic, winding country road rather than a concrete superhighway, the choice of our path depends on the kind of adventure you most enjoy. I have mapped out a road to the dwelling place of the inner guide, a helping force that lives within each person. This guide may appear as a medicine woman, or as a figure from biblical times, or any number of ways, depending on the associations contained in your intellectual storehouse, in your Akashic records, the images, the words, the sounds that ring your gongs, okay, ring your bells, all right, that you can be stirred and moved, that cause ripples in your consciousness for you to be more aware and for you to awaken, okay? Here we go. You might find it easiest to think of the guide as a part of yourself, yet able to be distinct and different in order to communicate more easily with your personality. Like I said, with the Jesus and Inanna thing, I was saying I love Jesus. And the way I was taught about Jesus, I could identify with Jesus. I could be empathetic with Jesus. I could be compassionate with Jesus. But I just couldn't see my sinful self filling Jesus' shoes. Okay? So thus, when the story of Inanna came to me, I was on point, because the story is about your personality dying, your identification dying, your earthly identification that was incarnated dying, and you being resurrected back to your higher spiritual conscious awareness with a different skill set, with a higher range of spiritual frequencies and spectrums than what you had before you went through this initiation, through this process, through this birth, death, and rebirth. Okay? And understanding that birth, death, and rebirth is just an affirmation. My hand is itching. It's just an affirmation. Okay? So let's keep going. Yet the guide is also more than you. Her presence brings you new information, and her love far surpasses your own. So I want you to understand and bring this home. The suffering, the letting go, the being stripped of all of your, everything that you've held on to. whether it was yours or it was generational, being stripped, having all that removed from you in a violent manner, in a traumatic manner, in a manner that causes you death, okay? In order to attain rebirth, you have to go through that death. And you have to know that you can be there for yourself, that you are worthy enough to reclaim yourself whole and holier. Okay? And you have to believe in yourself that you have learned. And you no longer hold on, you're no longer attached to what you were attached to before. The beliefs, the thoughts, the feelings, the people, the energy, the essences, the needs to suffer, the needs to self-sabotage, the needs to self-hurt, the needs to self-comfort. You're complete. And you're becoming more and more complete by being still in your beingness as spiritual conscious awareness that is higher than any personality that has ever been born, given, or created. And that is who you are. I am that I am. That is what I am. That is who I am. That is how I am. That is why I am. I am that. We are all beings much larger than we think. Just as in the diagram of the Goddess Information, page 21, I see us being a large cosmic energy pattern on the outer limits. If you were to look from overhead, we are beings gently moved by the planetary fields and celestial influences, as described through astrology. Astrology and astronomy, beloveds, those two are married, and you need to study both in order to understand the Mazzaroth's connection to the conscious evolution of existence itself. And since we are earthbound beings, we really need that. These are ancient ways that were understood and understood. We are beings gently moved by the planetary fields and celestial influences as described through astrology. The lines of force or planetary vibrations become finer patterns of energy and are seen as archetypal personifications of various qualities. These figures of beings are those that appear in profound dreams, visions, and meditations on the tarot character as they make contact with our individual psyches. That at an even closer level to us, there are the guiding beings. The guides are the gathering together of inspiration and information. Do you understand that? What are guides? What are spiritual guides? They are the gathering, the collective, the individual and the collective gathering together of inspiration and information into a personal form that entices us forward on our spiritual journey. So when I'm saying Inanna is guiding me, or Inanna came to me, or I was able to identify with Inanna, understand that is the inspirational information that I could resonate with, okay? That I could identify with, that would open me up in ways that the ancient stories that have been passed on to other deities are found. Whether that is Jesus, Inanna, Horus, it is the birth, death, rebirth. It is the raising to a higher frequency. Okay? This in no means discounts Jesus. So don't get that twisted. Okay? Because you have to understand that from zero, the Great Spirit and the Holy Spirit came one. That one is Jesus Christ. Okay? Whatever name, Yeshua, whatever you want to call it, that's who it is. That's the one. And it's that one who is going to have rule over this millennial season system in assistance as a spiritual guide, spiritual brother, spiritual elder for having gone through this in human form many times. So here we go, beloveds. You don't have to know about them. Wait a minute. Here we go. Let me just read that over. The guides are the gathering together of inspiration, information into a personal form that entices us forward on our spiritual journey. All of these forces can remain unconscious and still work. You don't have to know about them in order for them to be there. You don't have to see them. You don't have to recognize them on a conscious basis. That must have been Inanna doing that. That was my guardian angel. Oh, I wonder where that thought came from. Something just saved me. Something just told me to do that. Something. You don't have to be conscious of it. It works anyway. All of these forces can remain unconscious and still work. You don't have to know about them in order for them to be there. However, this is like having a family whom you never see because you have locked yourself in a small room of a very large house. The guides and archetypes are your spiritual family. You are now preparing to meet them for the first time and to bring them into conscious relationship with yourself. Within the center of these guiding forces, at the heart of the energy pattern, is the force field known as the self. Around that which is your physical being, you carry a cloud of beliefs, desires, feelings, wishes, memories, thoughts, attitudes, programs, longings, and expectations. The total accumulation of all you have ever done, thought, or said. As you complete interactions and change your ways of thinking and behaving, windows open to the larger self, the world of guides and archetypes surrounding you. And I want to show you this, beloveds. This is what this is speaking of. And I want you to see the concentric circles. And I want you to understand the contractions and the expansions that happen, the ripples, and how it's all interwoven, and how it's its own flower of life. Okay? It's its own blueprint. Okay. Guides and archetypes are your spiritual family. You are now preparing to meet them for the first time and to bring them into conscious relationship with yourself. Within the center of these guiding forces, at the heart of the energy pattern, is the force field known as the self. Around that which is your physical being, You carry a cloud of beliefs, desires, feelings, wishes, memories, thoughts, attitudes, programs, belongings, and expectations. The total accumulation of all you have ever done, thought, or said. Remember a couple of times when I've said you've got to put that down? You've got to put your burden down. This is your cross. This is what you carry with you. All of this. And it cannot go into the next birthing. These things cannot go into higher conscious frequencies and spectrums. They have to be left behind. You have to be empty. You have to be devoid of them. Meaning you have to be willing to give them up. Just like Inanna going through the 7 gates and removing all of her power through the vestments of her clothing. Okay? She was removing attributes. She was removing beliefs, desires, feelings, wishes, memories, thoughts, attitudes, programs, longings, and expectations. The total acclamation of all that she had ever done, thought, and said. You have to leave it outside. You have to accept the judgment that is pronounced upon you. And you have to die unto yourself. And you have to understand the dormancy of being empty for 3 so-called days. And then rebirthing yourself. Rising. Resurrecting from that. Okay? And as we gravitate more towards those kinds of winds of change, all the blanks will be filled in. The dots will be connected for us along the way. We are not going to know everything. Some of these things are going to need to be written down and communicated again for the first time for a new world. Okay? Let's keep going. As you complete interactions and change your ways of thinking and behaving, windows open to larger self, the world of guides and archetypes surrounding you. That means different worlds open up and you are able to access higher knowing, higher wisdom, higher spirituality, higher ways to till the earth, higher ways to be in the earth, higher ways to express unconditional love. Okay? This is where all of this is headed. Sometimes this happens spontaneously through a traumatic or dramatic experience. Sometimes it happens through patient practice and preparation. Either way, once the unknown is glimpsed, a desire rises to find the doorway out of your present set of limitations and walk through it. The exercise and meditations in this workbook are designed to take you through that doorway. The path begins now. The point of power is here. Getting ready. Preparation. A healthy physical body is the best overall preparation for any journey. Yet, sometimes sickness lights the fire for change. Whatever condition you are in, begin now to see that greater health and well-being are ahead. That's very empowering. That's very important. That is such an important seed to be given, to be sown, in order for you to reap its harvest, its benefits, its ripe fruits. Okay? And all you have to do is realize the value of the seed that you have been given, and value the space that you hold for that seed, and as a caretaker of that seed for your health, okay? Individually and collectively. The choices you make each moment affect your body. Consider the food you eat. What has it experienced in its life? Was it raised and prepared in love? Did it live in a poor environment? Its love or pain are vibrations you take into yourself. How is your consciousness affected? Bring life into yourself through the ingestion of whole, healthy foods and the movement and stillness of the physical body. You allow the flow of a continually creative and healing power to do its regenerative work within you. Wow. By not allowing yourself this kind of wholeness, this kind of holiness, this kind of wellness through nutrition, we are depleting ourselves. We are stealing from ourselves the vitality, is what is being given to me, our life force. It's so powerful. Just before settling down for meditation, it is helpful to let the body move and make noise. Dance or do yoga, run or jump up and down, scream, moan, babble, hum, or chant. Anything active and noisy will release pent-up tensions and emotions. Afterwards, stillness is natural. Look at a child. A child will run itself raggedy, and then it'll get so raggedy, it'll sit down and just nod off. All because it's done what? It's being still now. It's not moving. So when you got all this tension and all this stress, find something that you like to do that gives you an outlet to release it. Whether it's, like they said, dancing, running, jumping up and down, screaming, moaning, humming, chanting, jump rope, playing patty cake, going around looking at children play. Whatever it is. Even if it's got to be you, and it's got to be a movement. It's got to be energetic. And then sit down and be quiet. And that quietness is a natural contradiction to the loudness. And you will begin to create those kind of dynamics, not just within yourself, but around you. And it's a magnetic field, law of attraction kind of thing. Okay. Then go to your sacred space. This could be a corner of your room or a temple. Wherever you go again and again to meditate, there the energy will be left to help you the next time. Your space will contain your highest vibration. That's so funny because I have a favorite chair, a favorite space that I always sit in. And when my family comes over, they always getting in my spot. And they know it's my spot, but they always gravitate to that space. And it's the space that calls them. And I recognize and realize that. Pay attention to that in your own domain, in your own surroundings. Invocation. Sitting calmly cross-legged or on a bench or pillow or in a straight-back chair is usually better than lying down because of the tendency to fall asleep when prone. Call the powers to your side. Invite those spirits and guides with whom you wish to communicate. A prayer from your heart is best. If you want to be in communication with the Holy Spirit, put yourself in a spiritual state of mind, in a state of quiet pureness and innocence. And let that fill you. Let that charge you. Let that set and define your mood, and let it speak to you. Let it communicate to you. Anything and everything, just allow, beloveds. Just allow. Just allow, and you will be amazed. Or if you have a specific question or desire, something that you want to know more on, put yourself in that state, in that relaxed state, and see what comes to you. And like I said, understand, if Donald Trump can put himself in a relaxed state by just closing his eyes, you can put yourself in a relaxed state. You can teach yourself to put yourself in a relaxed state. Okay? Understand that is a consciousness. That is a choice. You are choosing the silence. You are choosing the stillness. Okay? Understand that is grounding, as it has been taught from the very earliest of times. It is grounding. Okay. Contemplation. Some time can be spent deciding on your focus for this particular meditation. Look over your life situation, sorting out the areas of concern. A guide is like a good friend. What would you like to share with her today? Bridge. In your imagery, it is helpful to build an actual bridge and experience yourself walking across it. Get all of your senses involved. See it, feel it, hear the sounds around it. Your kinesthetic body, which you are in during all meditations and dreams, has its own senses. Do not simply watch yourself as seeing a movie. Place your awareness in your body in the scene. The only time the watching yourself technique is valuable is when you would like to replay an old and painful memory without feeling it again. On the bridge, toss aside distracting thoughts. Visualization. Across the bridge, knowing your point of focus, visualize a clear path toward the answer you are seeking. This may simply be a road, or you may receive the answer at this point, in which case give thanks and be done. But if deeper exploration is desired, continue down the road. Harmony. Pass into a place of perfect harmony, a hillside or a valley. Feel the peace. See yourself relaxing more deeply. You may want to count down to watch the clouds carry thoughts away, to go through your body relaxing each part, or to use any other method of deepening relaxation and increasing awareness. Waterfall. At some point in the journey, you may find a waterfall, a stream, a pool, or pond. Always cleanse yourself here in your vision. You may also drink deeply from this source. The water is healing and renewing. Success point. You may stop to rest and just take in the scene at any point along the way, no matter how far you go. Allow yourself to feel successful. Never go on forcing yourself into a struggle. Sometimes a simple change of image will alleviate discomfort and distraction. Beloveds, learn to use your mind. Learn to master your thoughts and your feelings. Learn that when things come up that are painful and you don't want to focus on them, learn to change the imagery. It's just like changing a channel with a remote. I don't want to think about that next. I don't want to think about that. I'm not thinking about that. And you get more mindful by doing that. You take more control by doing that, beloveds. You are sitting in the driver's seat. You are the one at the steering wheel when you are able to do that, okay? When you are able to say, nope, I don't want to think about that. Nope, I don't want to think about that. And to move on to something else. To redirect. To refocus. That is mastering your ability to be mindful. That is mastering and being present with your conscious awareness. that is actually tuning in to your power to control the temperature, the simulation, the energies, the frequencies, the spectrums, how wide or how narrow the opening and flow is. So learn to do that, beloveds. Learn to do it. And just as you see, like I said, and I'm going to keep saying it, Donald Trump tuning everything out, and he's hoping that nothing sticks. We are paying attention to what is being said. We are paying attention. We are not forgetting. We are not being absent, because choice has to be made for the individual and for the collective. That is the call. That is the calling for everyone who is an adult and able to vote in the United States of America. This is your responsibility. It is your choice, regardless of this is the end of this particular paradigm of old white men being in charge. Everything is opening up from here. We're being seeded with a knowledge and a hunger for something else, something newer, something that is more capable of adapting and changing with the times. And not just with the times, but with the spectrums and frequencies of spiritual conscious awareness, okay? And not just stuck in a generational tradition or sense of duty that's been founded upon illusions or lies or colonizations or destruction. You can't build creation upon destruction. You build creation upon creation. You first have to build a new foundation to build a new creation upon. You cannot build a new creation on that old foundation. That ain't happening. So you need to be fully aware of what is going on, beloveds. You need to be fully present. You don't need to be unconscious. You need to be very much conscious and aware. Sometimes, here we go, success point. Pay attention to this, because this is so powerful of a paragraph that I'm about to read for the current time that we're in, for the current cycle and season that we're in. It's success point. You may stop to rest and just take in the scene at any point along the way. No matter how far you go, allow yourself to feel successful. Never go on forcing yourself into a struggle. Never go on forcing yourself into a struggle. If you've got to struggle to decide between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, then that whole system needs to be reevaluated and changes needs to be put in place so that electing officials to an office of service should not be a struggle. Shouldn't ever be a struggle. To appoint someone a servant of the people, there should be enough in that being's integrity and character and demonstration of life experiences to allow you to understand who will be successful in serving the individuals and the collectives, and who will not, who will be serving themselves and their cronies. This is what the youth of America want changed. This is what they're standing up for. Because we have to look at what we've left them, what we've given them, what we've told them, what we've raised them off of. Okay? The glittery wealth of it all, the lie. And they're finding out it's all lies. It's all illusions. So who do you think they're losing faith in? The adults that's leading them. That's why they're protesting war and what's happening to children all around the world. And they don't care what religion that child is. They don't care what color that child is. They don't care what gender that child is. It's a child. And grown-ass adults is doing this to its environment, to its home, to its surroundings, to its body, to its spirit, to its mind, to its thoughts and feelings. And it has to stop. Why? Because their spiritual consciousness is rising up within them, screaming, this is unjust. And I don't care if you don't like me for speaking on it. I don't care if you don't like me because I'm protesting it. I am going to speak. I am going to open my mouth. I am going to use my voice. And I am going to call a liar a liar. I am going to call a thief a thief. I'm going to call an adulterer an adulterer. If you are an adult and you are in a leadership position, you should know how to establish boundaries. You should know how to lead. And in order to know how to lead, you should know how to serve. And that is what we are re-educating ourselves on. That is the knowledge that we are opening back up inside our Akashic records. That is why this is coming up. That is why this seed, this fool, is here on this precipice. Okay? And she's looking what? She's looking up. And she's steady walking and throwing seeds. Oh, so prophetic. Okay, outside sounds can be incorporated into your imagery. You can create helpers along the way to give you nurturing. An angel to brush your aura, a gnome to dance with, a deer to whisper in your ear, a magical spell, be fantastic, arouse your emotion. So, beloveds, I want you to understand why personalities are given to animals, to planets, to gods and goddesses, to inanimate objects. to dolls and doll babies, to little soldier men, little toys. It's because it inspires and it helps us with a vision. It helps us with the imagery to broaden, okay, to expand the spiritual conscious awareness of the seen, the unseen, the real and what we consider the unreal, the normal and the paranormal, okay? All of existence exists. And when you begin to question that truth, or you begin to deny that truth, only this can exist, that's a lie. Only if you can see it, only if you can hear it. You made that up, so it's not real. Baby, it's more real than the books you reading out of. It's more real than the ancient cuneiform tablets, okay? The Mazzaroth and I, we speak, we have a language, we communicate. Why? Because I'm stardust. I'm planets that have been and that are no longer. I'm entities and essences. Starting to remember myself and bring myself back into a whole consciousness. And being aware of that consciousness is more valuable than my human personality. And when it comes to choice, choosing that, choosing the higher levels, the higher frequencies, choosing and attract. That's what I want to attract. That's what I want to multiply. That's what I want to expand. That's what I want to experience. I've had enough of the struggle. I've had enough of the suffering. I've had enough of pain. I know what it is. I know how powerful it is. I know how addictive of a drug and substance it is. Alchemically in the body. Psychically in the spirit and mind. The things that it draws to you. The things that it holds. The unseen and the seen. The death that it calls for and longs for and loves and glorifies. I'm on the other side of that now. Life is beautiful. It's radiant. And it's waiting to be born, conceived. Again and again and again. On and on and on and on and on. And we have that potential in us. We only have to know it and realize it. Access it and use it. And stop letting it be exploited for the benefit of others who just want to cha-ching ching, for bling bling, for showmanship instead of service, true service. Okay. You can create helpers along the way to give you nurturing. An angel to brush your aura, a gnome to dance with, a deer to whisper in your ear, a magical spell. Be fantastic. Arouse your emotion. Understand your emotions are powerful. They're powerful essences. They're powerful perfumes. They're powerful foods. They're powerful jewels. Okay? They're powerful waves and ripples. Learn to radiate them. Learn to attract what you want. Learn to dispel what you don't want. You got the power. Meditation. Eventually, the inner world seems to be evolving by itself. Enjoy it. Observe it. Let it happen. Don't stop to analyze it until you are finished with the entire meditation period. You will remember everything that happened. You can write it down and share it later. And even if you don't, it's held within your new Akashic records. Okay? It's been recorded. It has created new ripples in cells. They have already rewritten themselves and began to bring about healing and being able to hold more space for this. Okay? Guide's house. Down the road, you will find the house of your guide. Your guide will always be a totally loving presence. Ask the guide to allow the light of the Great Spirit to shine through her presence. A true guide is always comfortable with higher energies. If you have a background of Christianity, you may find familiar faces in your journey. Your guide may be a saint. Jesus may speak with you now and then, or you might meet Buddha. Accept and be glad. All must eventually find comfort with the religious force of their past. Nothing happened by accident. It may be time for you to understand the deeper reasons for your upbringing in a certain religious tradition. The guide is your friend. Treat the guide as you would treat any great friend. Present your ideas, your questions, your desires. Ask the guide to explore the answers with you. Whenever you would like to meet an archetype of the tarot, ask the guide to go with you. She is your support in all challenges. At times, even when you are not meditating, you may find the guide at your side. The long journey I have described is not always necessary in order to make contact. Your meditation experience may begin at any point along the way. You and your guide will decide. New adventure. Your guide can take you to a library where you can look up information on yourself. I want you to hear that because that is hitting me differently. That is resonating with me differently. Because I have been throwing seeds, I am ready to go into another house with another library, a higher realm library. And parts of me are like, oh shit. And other parts of me are like, yay, goody, goody. You know? And so it is a roller coaster ride right now. And I have learned the fear of the unknown is no longer being received as fear, but as excitement. And so you might see a new sparkle in my eye. I'm giddy. Certain things now make me laugh, make me giddy, and I am just into the hee of it all because it is really, truly being that child again, being that innocent child again, being reborn innocent again. And all the other shit that happened to another being, that happened in another lifetime. I'm not carrying that. There are times when little memories will come, but again, I redirect, I refocus. I don't get hooked and hung up on the hook anymore in front of them to suffer, to weep and to cry and to gnash my teeth. Done with that. The Great Mother rises through her grief. through her pain. She knows this. She knows that's where she builds her strength. That's where she get her limbs and her muscles gain their strength from her thighs, for her to take her stand, for her to be able to push that baby out. She understands that comes from her thighs, from her core. I shared some things on my Facebook page about that. Came up from watching this little girl fight, learn how to fight. And I mean, she was powerful, baby. She was throwing elbows and arms and hit the trainer so hard his little protective glove went flying off. And I'm just looking at him saying, get it, baby, get it, yes. And Spirit kept taking me back to this, and I'm like, okay, Spirit, why you want me to keep looking at this? What is here that you want me to see? Educate me. Not just let me be entertained by this little girl doing this. Educate me. Watch her feet. Watch her balance. Watch her hips and her thighs. Watch her move and carry herself, because she's moving rapidly. And where is she getting this strength from? It's coming from her core. She's hitting from her thighs. That's where the energy is at. That's where it's stored. That's what's giving her other limbs their strength. That's where the communication is coming from. The muscular, cellular tissue. And then I went and looked up the spiritual and metaphorical meaning of thigh. And of course it was there. It's very deep. One of the first things that came to my mind was Jacob wrestling with the angel, and the angel touching his thigh and dislocating his hip through a particular nerve, I believe. There is a lot there to learn. It's more than just a story. It is an allegory. It is very powerful metaphysical things there. Okay? That is where Jacob set up his first I can call it temple. His first little building of stones to commemorate where this happened, on the land, on the earth itself. Okay, where this energy was tapped into and all of this happened. Right here on this earth grid spot, right here. And it affected my body, this part of my body, right here. And what was shown in all of this, the Jacob's ladder, the descending and the ascending and all of it, is very powerful. You can say you don't read the Bible, you can say you don't do this, you can say, but when you understand the power of story, the power of allegory, the power of morals in stories, the potential to learn from the integrity or the duplicitousness of characters in stories, you have no problem reading any kind of story because you understand what you are encountering is knowledge. And what you do with that knowledge is up to you. Let's keep going. I've been going a lot. Okay. New adventure. Your guide can take you to a library where you can look up information on yourself or things that interest you. You may attend classes in certain things. You may meet archetypes and work with them. You may meet other teachers, ones who lived famous lives on earth and ones you have never known. Da Vinci was like that with me. Oh, I tapped into Da Vinci deeply through a television show that was called Da Vinci, and also through just the internet and researching Da Vinci. There was a lot there. The same thing with several other um, great teachers, I will call them. I will call them great teachers. Einstein, just a lot. All the stories, the allegories. There's a lot there, beloveds, and it's ancient, but it's also still very relevant. Okay. You may meet other teachers, ones who have lived famous lives on earth and ones you have never known. You may travel around the world or to other planets. There are no boundaries here, except that you ask permission to enter the awareness of anyone you meet. And that's where we meet a lot of violation, because a lot of beings here are using astral travel into the conscious awareness of other beings, but they're doing so without that being's conscious consent and conscious awareness. They're doing it in a subconscious or unconscious manner. And to me, that is akin to rape. Okay? That does not hold with integrity. It just doesn't. That's my feeling on that. Balance. When your conversation or adventure has come to completion, ask the guide if there's anything you need to do to continue balance in your life now that you have this new information. Always leave with an image of balance in the situation or surround it with white light and let it disappear. Celebration. You may receive gifts along your way. Take them into your body. When you need them later, there they will be. You may also give gifts, rejoice in all that has happened. Occasionally, your meditation will be in celebration. Sometimes the guides plan festive events where you have achieved a certain goal toward which we were working. Always receive and appreciate it. It will come naturally. Thanksgiving. The short time home from your journey is the road of Thanksgiving. Be thankful for everything that you have in your life that allows you to express as you do. A lot of people have a hard time with that. Understanding that the suffering that you endured, your trip to hell with suffering, has awarded you the capacity to hold space honorably for another who is suffering and doesn't know how or what it is, or how to bring healing to it, or how to make peace with it, or how to communicate with it, how not to let it kill you or drown you or whoop your ass. So, yes, at the time, the moment, it was not pleasant. You did not ask for it. You did not deserve it. It was not fair. All of those things are true. But I want you to understand that spiritually, it was given to you to use as a gift of strength and overcoming, your ability to overcome and to rise above like the phoenix. Not to let something weigh you down and hold you into death unto death do you part. It must be overcome. And you, if you have it within you to want to help others, you have what it takes. Because you can, with compassion, say, I've been there. It may not be the exact same situation, but I've been there. I've been you. I know what you're feeling. I know what you're carrying. And I'm here to tell you, we can put it down. And we can pick it back up. And we can put it down. Until we teach ourselves to let it go. And when we find ourselves going to say no, redirect, and go about something else. That's the process. That's the seeding. That's the trump. That's the big joker, the big fool. That's the power of the big fool. Be thankful for everything that you have in your life that allows you to express as you do. Take your power and your talents, your insight and inspiration, and put them into use in your daily life. The paradise within must be made manifest in the world without. You have to bring heaven upon earth. You do that through your conscious spiritual awareness by expanding it to higher frequencies and higher spectrums of unconditional love. By tuning into unconditional love and only allowing that. Anything else you do not allow. No. You say, no, I don't want trauma, drama, lies. No. If I can't trust you, no, I'm not willing to even deal with you. No. Why? Because there's so much else that I can be seeding, that I can be involved in, that I do trust, that I am exploring. I'm no longer caught up with the bad boy syndrome. Well, what makes you do this? What makes you think like that? That's kind of interesting. Let's see where that goes. That's okay. No, thank you. But you have to grow up. That's the fool. That's the big joker. Trump's the little joker. The little fool, the little joker wants to go. Let's see. Let's ride the bike over there. No. Well, let me drive the car. No, you don't get to even sit in the front seat. Get in the back. That's the big joker. That's the zero. I ain't holding on to none of that stuff that you holding on to. I ain't going to none of that stuff. It's all irrelevant. We're seeding new stuff. You don't know nothing about that? Sit back there, shut up, and enjoy the ride. Just as simple. Okay. You will find your outer world changing as you gather experiences on the inner planes. You may think of the inner world as a dream, but remember to think of the outer world as a dream and metaphors, gods and goddesses, just as an exercise. The next time you are in pain in the real world, tell yourself it is just a dream and wake up into the inner world of your own creation. Change the scene. Give it a different meaning, and you will find that the outer world begins to change as well. It is a delicate process, like making fine lace. You are the creator of your life pattern as you work with the light threads of energy from the inner being. You are the weaver of worlds with the yarn of the gods. This is what is being told and taught to Donald Trump. That is why he is closing his eyes in court. He cannot be excused. He cannot get out of being physically in court. He must attend. But his physical body is there, but his mental body, his spirit is not there. He has been taught how to float on, float on. So in his mind, even though his body is there, he is still not being held accountable. It's not him. He's not listening. You know how you can be in front of a child, didn't I tell you? No. And the child is standing there looking at you, but they zoned out, and sometimes that child has been me, okay? I zoned out on my mama many a times, honey. She up there talking and yelling and screaming and this and that, and did you hear what I said? Mm-hmm. And had got so good with being gone and being present that I could tell her what she just said, but my mind still wasn't there. I was gone. And so she couldn't argue with me because I just repeated what she had just said, verbatim. But baby, I'm not there. Disassociation? Ooh. That needs to be looked into deeply. It needs to be understood deeply. Because so many of us disassociate from anything unpleasant. We tune it out. We take ourselves elsewhere in our mind. We tap into another frequency and flow. We go into our imaginary worlds. You've seen the movie Precious? Best example I can give of it. You will find your outer world changing as you gather experiences on the inner planes. You may think of the inner world as a dream, but remember to think of the outer world as a dream and metaphors, gods and goddesses, Inanna, Zeus, Aries, especially the gods and goddesses with the planets. Pay attention to them. Pay attention to the personalities. When astronomically they are influencing certain frequencies and spectrums that are impacting the earth due to the cycles and seasons of the moon phases and sun phases. Pay attention to these things. It's all a language. Or as the ancestors said, it's all a dance. It's a pattern. And if you pay attention, you see it. And it's very easy to connect those constellation dots. When I was a young child and I was being taught about constellations, that don't make that. That don't look like that to me. How did you get that out of... How did they know how to go from that dot to that dot to that dot? Okay. From this star to that star to that star, instead of going from that star to that star to that star. How? Valerie, shut up and just get what we teaching. Okay. Pay attention. There's this whole thing with Jupiter and bees. Very prophetic. Very instructional. Very deep knowledge. Very deep allegories. Very deep metaphors. Very deep spiritual nuances to expand upon Expand what? Expand your spiritual conscious awareness on. Yellow. Jupiter. Bumblebee. Bee. God of the bees. Goddesses of the bees. The Melissa. There's all kinds of knowledge, Akashic records, information. Use the information to guide you. Use it to discern and to disseminate. Stop thinking you know everything and you don't know a damn thing. Be able to be a seed. Be fertile ground. Be able to be seeded. Be able to receive. And be able to incubate what you receive. Be able to hold it and give it life and nourish it through your understanding and understanding of being one with it, first and foremost. Okay. Change the scene, give it a different meaning, and you will find that the outer world begins to change as well. I can testify to that. It is a delicate process like making fine lace, a whole. You are the creator of your life pattern as you work with the light threads of energy from the inner being. You are the weaver of worlds with the yarn of the gods. The traveler's guide. People you may encounter along the way and how to respond to them. Friends, give them appreciation for their place in your life. Relatives, give them what you feel they need. World leaders, give them the information they lack to aid in their decision making. A whole. Animals, ask them to lead you to your destination. They are embodiments of instinct. The needy, give them healing. Wrap it as a gift to be opened when they are ready to receive it. The struggling, show them another way to live. Fear the guardian. Fear is also a guardian. Talk about your options. Find out how to be prepared for what comes next in your life path. Remember I said I turned fear into excitement. Sexual tempters. Ask them what part of yourself you need to love. Then love it. Ask them how you might align this aspect of yourself and all of your desires with your highest purpose. That is a deep one. That is a releasing. For many, that is a power dynamic. The sexual tempters. Sexual tempter is a role. It is a characteristic. It is a personality. It is an essence. It is a spectrum and frequency. So you need to be aware of everything you're being attracted to is not just a sexual attraction. It's an attraction on a deeper level, a spiritual level, but it's surfacing or being processed as a sexual, as this person is a temptress or a siren to you. You want to know more about them. What you really want to know more about is their frequency and spectrum, their divine, sacred frequency and spectrum, whether it's masculine or feminine, or both. You want to explore that. You want to know what that's about. That's what the sexual tempter is. And as a crone, That is when I'm flirty and I put on the role or the dress or the makeup as a sexual tempter. That is what I'm doing. That's what I'm casting out there. Those are the seeds that I'm casting. I'm not looking for a bed partner. I'm not looking for fishing for compliments or this or that or the other. It's simply because I'm feeling myself in a certain way, my goddess self in a certain way, and I'm expressing it and it's radiating that way. Okay? That's the way it needs to be expressed. And some people can only feel things. They're so attuned to their sexual instinct more than their spiritual instincts and intuition. Your sexual, oh, they like me. Who is they? What do they like about you? How is that going to help you? How is that going to help them? Is that going to harm you? Is that going to be harmful to them? It's a lot more to things. That's where maturity comes into play. And that's where not gaslighting and being truthful comes into play. Monsters, befriend them and bid them to be gone in the name of a high one. They can live only off the energy that you are willing to give them. Take it away or transform them with your light. State your higher purpose, ask your guide to assist you in reaching a higher state of consciousness, then go on past the monsters. Trump is a monster to me. And all that I am doing is what this book just said to do. I'm bidding them be gone in the name of a higher one. Knowing that they can live only off the energy that I'm willing to give them. If I stay mad with Trump, he feeds off of that. He's empowered by that. He gets its attention. It puts him on the map. It holds him. I'm holding space for him. It makes him large and in charge. Take it away or transform them with your light. I do that by setting the truth, by calling him an outright liar, by calling him an adulterer, by calling him a cheater, by calling him a misogynistic little boy man. Okay? And I don't say that based off of just hearsay. I say that based off of my instincts and my intuition, first and foremost. I say that based off of the things that I have read and researched and been shown about him in a consistent manner over the decades, okay? I say that knowing from the Father that raised him, so his genetic stuff that he's still carrying. I know it by what he tries to hide. I know it by the bluster. I know it by the cunning dithering. I know it by the cast off of accountability. I know it by the power he seeks. I know it by the attraction he has to whom he perceives as being powerful in a manly way. I see it from his own speech when he speaks of committing violence against others and how he thinks things used to be in the good old days and how that should be the template or the blueprint for now, especially with women and women's bodies and women's status as an object, as a piece of property, as a toy. Not as a mother, a daughter, and a wife, or a friend, but as something to be used and dismissed only when you desire to play. So that is what makes him a monster to me. And I see the monster. And I know what's behind the monster's smile. And I know what's behind the monster's lies. And I know what's behind those who support the monster. And I know what's behind those who do not support the monster. I know which side I am on. I am not for the monster. I am not Team Monster. No, I'm not. State your higher purpose. Ask your guide to assist you in reaching a higher state of consciousness, then go on past the monsters. Stop worrying about the monsters. I no longer worry about if Donald Trump is going to be elected, if he's going to be set free, if he's going to have access to this, that, or the other. Because you know what? There's a deeper, larger plan at play than a Donald Trump. And he is just one little ant in an anthill. Okay? He's not the queen. Silly things. Ask them to present their deeper side. Even silly images should not be rejected. They often evolve into profound teachings. Your imagination has to draw from the images you currently have available. It will get beyond silliness if you give it a chance. Language. The soul thinks in images. The soul lives in images. The soul nourishes itself on images. That's why images of, like I say, images of the truth. Images of the truth of what happened during Donald Trump's reign of terror can't be denied. Out of his own mouth, he said, grab them by the, because they like that. And when you're a star, they let you. I believe his wife was pregnant too at the time when he was dealing and having his affair with Stormy Daniels. So, just goes to show you what he thinks about the maternal female. A mother to be. her emotional, physical well-being. All he cared about was his own desires. But you want to choose him to put your needs above his. You think he's going to serve you because of all the hogwash that comes out of his mouth. I want you to understand what that man represents in this time period. And I want you to bear witness to the signs of the time that he represents. Okay? And that's the only reason he's coming up so much in this video. Let me keep going, beloveds. At times, you can, this video is how to trump a Trump with the big joker. Okay? So, this is all right along in the same topic. The images you dwell on tend to materialize in your life. You can imagine in a reality. If you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Laurel Elizabeth Keys. At times you may receive your inner information through songs. Sometimes you may feel like speaking nonsense that will sound like another language. It may be that you just need a certain vibration to aid your process and that you might get stuck if there were content in the sounds. Accept whatever comes through. That for me is like beatboxing. That is the Indian chanting, the Native American chanting. That is just the tonals sometimes of the old Negro spirituals, the humming. Sometimes you just need that vibration. It's not even about the words. It's just about the weeping and the wailing and the sound of it all. And the sound is what gives you the image and the imagery when you don't have the words. You identify or you create through the sounds. Not so much the images first. Accept whatever comes through. Listen. There will be plenty of time to think intellectually about the happenings after the meditation is through. Customs. Once again, observe, accept, appreciate the intent of whom and what you find. Dream-like things that would be impossible in your usual outer world may happen. This is normal and fine. There are times when I find myself rocking. And my mother, stop rocking, girl. What's wrong with you? Psh, psh, psh. You know, and you look crazy. You know, and it's a natural, comforting thing for me. It's a way for me to tune in. It's a way for me to enter a trance state. It's a way for me to gather information. It's a way for me to seek higher depths of peace. And there are many beings who would look at it and say, you retarded, or you are on the spectrum, or this, that, and the other. And it's very simple. I'm tapping into all that is. You don't know nothing about that. You don't have the words, the reality, nothing. And so you see me and you think, out of your ignorance. And you want to then convince me that I don't know what I'm doing. And in your way is better. Valerie, there is no unseen world. There is no unseen realm. That's all in your imagination. You're making up stuff. That's demonism. Blah, 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 blah. And the whole time, it's my creative spirit. It's me going through the Akashic records. It's me going through data and information. You can't see that. What you see is just me going like this. And you want to shame me for going like this. Because you don't go like that. You know what? Maybe you should learn how to go like this, okay? It's a language. It's a way of communicating that's nonverbal. It's a way of tapping into the energy spectrums, frequencies, vibrations of the multiverses, of the cosmic multiverses, the cosmic spheres, the celestial spheres. It's a way of understanding what you're magnetizing to you, what you want to think, what you want to see, and what you don't. And learning that whatever comes up, you have the power to say, nope, 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 nope. And once you are able to keep doing that, even in your dream states, even in your subconscious and unconscious states, you will have developed a strong enough ability to say, nope, not even in a dream. Let me wake up. Not even going to happen in my dream. Nope. Nope. It's not about the intellect. It's not about philosophy. This is spiritual. Science is not going to have an explanation for it. So stop looking, stop trying to compare it with a scientific principle. It's never going to add up. Customs. Once again, observe, accept, appreciate the intent of whom and what you find. Dream like things that would be impossible in your usual outer world may happen. This is normal and fine. Gifts. Give and receive gracefully. Take the gifts into your body or find them in the outer world and keep them as objects of power. Let them remind you of your inner experience. Currency. Love is the universal currency. Use it freely. Sightseeing. At times, you may not be able to see your guide or others clearly. Perhaps you will glimpse only a foot or a hand. Often this is to avoid the onslaught of preconceptions you have had about certain body types or appearances. The feeling vibration is the best way to know your guide. In time, when love is established between you and your guide and a bond is made, a face may be given. Never think of yourself as a failure because you are not seeing things. Simply do what you are able to do. And beloved, let me give you another little thing that I've been doing with Donald Trump lately in my mind. And that I'm going to start expanding upon. I'm seeing him at peace, seeing him a changed being, seeing him reversing his ways and being open to change. I can do this in my mind. I can see this in my mind. I can see him doing these things. Why? Because the Great Spirit is greater than he. So it's about bending the imagery and the essence of, it's about taking away the power of fear. It's about transforming it. into something that you don't mind looking at, you don't mind seeing. If you look at Donald Trump as a small child, age of 2, just running around in a little grown man, little boy, having tantrums, little spoiled rich boy, you can deal with him. He need to sit his little ass down somewhere. And you just going about your business. You don't, boy, they gonna put this man in president, and he done already said he gonna get on this tricycle and go shoot everybody as soon as he get back in office. And no, no. Yep, they're gonna sit him down and have a nice little talk with him, and he's going to have to change, and he's going to have to do this, and he's going to do that, and he's recreate, redirect, reworld, rewild, rewire, redirect. It's your show. Diary. A journal or any trip is a fond remembrance in the inner journey especially. It is often very heartening to read back through your beginning stages and see the progress you have made. It also helps you to see the desires you have brought into reality, the things you have manifested, the changes through which you have gone. Through my poetry, through my writings, I look on things now and I'm like, wow. I look at what I've been given. I look at what I want to do, what I wanted to do with the rebirthing and the womb knowledge since the very beginning of this. When I began my healing journey and I began receiving all this information, having access to it so freely. And now where I am. And like I said, I am now in... Okay, Valerie, leave that alone. Now I'm in a spot where I'm going to have to change things financially. I'm going to have to change some dynamics. I'm going to have to change... I want a community on land, on fertile land, on spiritual land, land that is blessed, land that can be blessed, land that speaks to me, land that I'm one with. And I want for beings to have access to the wellspring of information that flows. Now, how this is going to look and how it's going to do, I don't know. I don't know. But this is still the desire. And it's still the desire to have like a university or this land, and it to be a place of learning higher frequency and spiritual learning, expanding spiritual conscious awareness. I'll put it like that. At a very high functioning frequency. And that's what I want to be a part of. I want to be a root of. And that's what I'm now sensing. And that's what I guess I'm now seeking. And I'm not one to ask for help. So this is a big thing for me to even be sitting up here saying and doing. And all the while I'm doing this, there are these little Bells, you shouldn't be speaking it out loud. You shouldn't be speaking it out loud. But then there are others that are announce it to the universe. Let the universe hear it. Let the universe know that this is a strong desire. It is one that has moved with you from point A to where you are now. Whatever number or alphabet I'm at right now. Whatever life after how many deaths I've had through this healing journey. And here it is, the same the womb space is what I seek to create. A womb space. And so that is what is calling me. And I won't settle for anything less. I'll put it that way. And that is the currency. Love is the universal currency. Use it freely. Sightseeing. Nope, I read that. Tickets, please. The flight is free. You can go anywhere you want to go, forward in time or back through lives before. You are in complete control. Step lively now. A word about making it up. The imagination has been much maligned. Its purpose has not been understood by many. You are starting the process of re-educating yourself as to its proper usage. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, that exists in what we call the real world that has not been produced through imagination. Imagination is the source of all ideas. It is something natural and continuous, like grass growing or water running. You can tap into it at any time. With this natural gift of imagination, we take the elements of the natural world and form them into new, very real things. Imagination precedes all manifestation. You might say, if you want a guide, you must make one up, but this doesn't acknowledge the mysterious power that gives you this ability to make things up. It also diminishes the role of the guide in activating and dwelling within your vision. It would be closer to the truth to say that you build a house, your body, and the guide. The power of God comes to live there. You are co-creators. You did not invent imagination. Without it, your life is dull and perhaps impossible. It is a gift to you, but you alone can use the gift. Your role is all important. It is only by your respect for your imagination and your developing it by proper usage, as you would any other muscle in your body or your intellect, that you can share in the magical world it can provide for you. Do not be afraid to make things up. That don't mean tell lies. It means to bring things into material form, to mother your matters, to hatch your eggs, okay? To lay your eggs and hatch your eggs and raise your babies, okay? Do not be afraid to make things up. Without your conscious knowledge, you are making up the entire world you already live in. Indeed, others are helping you to create it, perhaps even taking more power in its creation than you are. You allow this. Thus, you can be ruled by the imagination of others, or you can begin to accept responsibility for imagining a better world, and thereby beginning its possibility for creation. I hope that's what I choose. And I'm a being of sovereign choice. So let's go. Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go. Use your imagination fully to reach what I call the higher realms. All this means is to go for the very best you can dream. From there, God will take over. Seeing how willing you are to use this powerful tool and do your part, the great spirit of all life will begin to offer you things beyond your imagining. You will hit points in your meditative journeys where some greater power will take over and provide information beyond your knowledge. You will have tapped the sources of inspiration and creativity, the well of wholeness and holiness that lies waiting still inside you. That is that card, beloveds. And I know this has been a very long couple of videos, okay? But it's very powerful, it's very relevant. And as you know, I do these videos for myself even, because I come back to them years later. And I look and I listen to what was given at the time, what I was going through at the time, where my heart was at the time, what I was holding space for, sacred space for, what I was holding sacred, what I was desiring, what I was looking for, what I was calling out for, what was answering it, what was rejecting it, what was dismissing it, what was accepting it. And there are patterns in those things as well. There is a lot, beloveds. There's just a lot. There's a lot. And when you begin to really connect the dots with things, you start to really see, you start seeing a lot. You start recognizing patterns. And then when you start recognizing the patterns, then you begin to pay attention that these patterns happen in cycles and seasons. These are all concentrical circles and spirals, you know. That's all there together in that. And it's a relationship. It's the relationship. And once you become intimate with that relationship, you begin to understand what I am that I am. What it means, how it feels, how vast it is, and how unlimiting it is. And then you begin to compare it to man's world and personalities. And then you begin to look at the grooming of the traditions, of the mass production of copies, replicas of certain philosophies, ways, traditions, sayings, beliefs, thoughts, feelings, right or wrong. And when you step back, you see that as a sovereign being, expanding its spiritual conscious awareness, you have choice in what you choose to participate in. You have choice over what you bless. You have choice over what you curse. And when I say you curse, that means you reject it. You don't want anything to do with it. Doesn't mean you wish harm or you seek hurt or you seek resentment, or you seek vengeance, or you seek revenge. No. If you're doing that, you're still in personality. This is above personality. This is your spirit, your higher spiritual self. Your higher spiritual self don't have no problem with nobody's personalities, because you realize their personality is not even their real self. That's a mask that they're wearing, that they're fooling themselves with. And what you have is the big joker in living color, in the highest frequencies and spectrums. And that way trumps whatever card they play. Simple as that. They can have all the strategy in the world. They can have the best hand in the world. They can have this, that, and the other. But when it comes to that moment, that trump is triumphant. That fool, that big joker, gets to go ahead, gets the victory lap, continues the marathon, passes the baton. The big joker, the biggest fool. It goes back to that biblical verse. The first will be made last, and the last will be made first. It's very simple. So, beloved, start empowering yourself through the imagery of the big joker, the seed, the fool, zero, nothing, nothing being everything. And learn how to weld it within your own existence, as existence. Okay, and that is going to do it, beloveds. I'm not going to apologize for the length of the video. It is long, but there's a lot that came through. Break it up in the little pieces and parts if you don't have the patience and stamina to sit and just listen. A lot of us do not. A lot of us do not have the time or the ability, And I understand that. But you have to understand and understand what is most nourishing to you. This is all on my table, my spiritual table. Enjoy, 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 enjoy. Okay, thank you. This is Mother with Wisdom. Subscribe and press the notifications. Share the videos with others so that the consciousness can expand. Beloveds, I'm not at the moment getting any kind of money, or I'm not seeking fame or fortune or anything. I'm seeking for the collective consciousness to expand. And that is what I have been watching happening. And as a spiritual midwife, I'm here. And it's time for me to be more here, more hands-on. And I think I'm ready. And I think I'm about to find out. I think I'm about to F around and find out. I really do. So, interesting times. Namaste, beloveds. Valerie Ames Middlebrook on Facebook. Mother with Wisdom also on Blog Talk Radio. Mother with Wisdom 9 is the newer version, but regular Mother with Wisdom, those are the old shows going back years ago when I first started this journey, but the message is still very much intact. And I was even using this then. So it is what it is, beloveds. I hope.